Gentlemen, welcome.
Hi, he said gentlemen, not just me, huh?
That's right. We got another person with us this evening.
In another edition of Through a Therapist's Eyes, this is Craig Graves. I am Chris Gazdick, and we do have a third member of Through a Therapist's Eyes. More on that in a second. This is where we invite you to see the real world through the lens of a real mental health and substance abuse therapist, right? The goal is to create emotional growth through the medium of the podcast, being aware it's not the delivery of therapy services in any way. Craig and Neil, this is the human emotional experience, and I propose that we simply work to figure this thing out together. Right? So yeah, we have an introduction. Why don't you introduce Mr. Neil, Craig? See your voice on who he is and what we're doing here.
So, dude, I got nothing prepared.
Yeah,
and you
I know,
call
right?
me out like that.
Yeah, right. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
I'm not surprised. Neil Robinson is going to come on to help us do some marketing and some of the things that we're trying to do to grow our show. Neil, I've known Neil for a long time. I used to work with his father, Norm, at Bank of America. And so we used to go skiing and doing all kind of fun stuff back in those days. I guess Neil was about 17 or 18 back then. And now he's got his own family, and it's been cool to kind of watch him grow up a little bit. And he's here to help.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. We'll see how it goes.
Neil, I'm excited to have you, man. There's what's happened for the listening audience, and this is the way this show's going to go today. So we're going to introduce Neil and some of the things he's going to bring on into the show and why, and what's going on with that, and we're going to talk about a couple of current event things as we kind of try to keep our minds and ears and fingers on the pulse of mental health related things that are going on in the news. Craig, there's nothing mental health related going on in the news today. Would you agree?
It's kind of boring right now.
Right. Nothing going on, Neil. Anything going on you think's mental health related?
Not that I can think of.
Right. Sarcasm is dripping. So anyway, we're going to do that, and then we're going to make an announcement that I'll announce right now, and we'll talk about how that's going to look and stuff. The reality of it is, as Neil brings on some of these cool things to the show that we're going to do, we're going to take a pause. This is our very first pause, Craig. Mr. Graves, do you realize we have not had a pause in show production in, ever?
Yeah, we've been almost 2 years now.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're going to take about a month pause, get some of our internal stuff together, and we'll call it, what do we want to call it, season 2 when we come back? Is that what we want to do?
I don't know if we're going to call it season or not.
It's a season.
Yeah.
So that's the lineup for the show today. Neil, Mr. Neil Robinson, man, you have come on because we were starting to feel like we needed to get more done and do more things, kind of grow the show and do some cool stuff. So what types of things might you add? And by the way, he's going to be more behind the scenes, right? We may pop you on the air, I guess, from time to time.
Yeah, definitely want to be more behind the scenes, but I'll hop on if you guys need me to or want me to. But I mean, really what we're looking at doing is just building the audience. We want to get that excitement. We want to get the exposure out there. What you guys are doing with this podcast is a great service. It's something I believe in too, which is great that you guys asked me to come on here. The idea is
we begged him, our audience. We begged him actually. Craig
tried to get me to quit, about a week into it. So, so I got two conflicting stories here, but so what we want to do is we want to really build a relationship with your listeners. We want to grow that listener base, and what we're going to do is work on creating some processes, make your podcast consistent, really have other avenues that you guys can interact with us, because we know that mental health is super important, and we want to be there to help those that need it. We want to get the word out there. So that's the plan with you guys. And like you said, give you guys some new energy. I'm a little bit younger than you guys, so it might have a little bit extra.
Craig, he didn't go to the age factor, did he? Did he do that?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Beat him up, man.
I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Take him down. What's the website going to be like? And yeah, that's what I'm kind of excited about as far as, being able to kind of get some newer and innovative things going on to, some social media stuff, the Facebook Live. What are you envisioning as we've talked about things thus far in your head that you can help us do?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things we're going to do is right now it's basically just the podcast. We're just kind of putting the podcast and the audio of it. And what we want to do is we want to start transcribing. We're going to get to where people can search for it. Instead of spending it at 45 minutes or an hour going through the whole podcast, we want to make sure they're hitting the topics they want. So we know that, at minute 35, there's a 5-minute section that covers a certain topic that it really reaches and hits those people. We're going to make sure that the YouTube channel is properly populated and searchable. We're going to make sure that, we're really getting more involved with the different social media channels. We're going to have more Facebook Lives directed at what you guys want to see. Have some more Instagram posts to, bring out some of these quotes that a lot of these visitors and guests are bringing out, because there's a lot of great stuff that's being said that's hidden inside this audio files, these podcasts, that you guys just don't realize that's in there. So we want to get it out there, reach out more people, and really provide more information to those that come to our website or find you guys on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's cool that I'm appreciative of you is we've got, 90 plus episodes that we've published, and you're going to help us kind of organize them so you can kind of go to the website and really see just key topics, what they want to hit, in key topics like substance abuse and key topics such as marriage. And we have enough content and stuff that we've done where, and I've been resistant, like I don't want to narrow it so specific to that, but we've got enough shows now where we can really hit a lot of really cool things. I use this show in a lot of ways, for my clients that are in therapy with me, and they get great information, and then I can individualize it in a dynamic way in a therapy relationship. But you're going to kind of organize it a little bit with us, right?
Yeah, we're gonna, like I said, this is going to be there as a great resource for people to come and get to. It's people's lives are busy, and we want to make sure that they get the information they need when they need it or when they want to go for it. So yeah, you guys are dripping gold with all the content. 90 podcasts, that's fantastic. I'm chomping at the bit here to get this information out there to everyone.
What are they making me do with Facebook Live? What is that?
Well, what we want to do is we want you to interact with people. When they go and see your articles and they listen to the podcast, we want them to ask you questions. They want to say, hey, I listened to your podcast, episode 90, and I have a question. What is your take on this? Or, maybe some behind the scenes. Maybe there's some things we've talked about that, maybe we want to just share with you guys that's not in the recording. This is what we're trying to give you guys, is that more interaction. We really want you guys to love the show and share it. These topics are crucial, and they have to be out there.
Absolutely. You're going to make me do some things with Facebook Live and stuff. What are you going to make Mr. Graves do? You going to force him into anything?
He's going to be the LinkedIn guy. He's going to be the guy doing a lot of the LinkedIn
Mr.
stuff.
LinkedIn guy?
So we're trying to divvy this up, because for one person to do all the different social media channels and really give the audience what they need, we got to kind of split up the engagement and the interaction. So yeah, and I'll be in charge of the YouTube stuff, make sure that things are being found and just getting the quality out there. So
we got a couple of cool current events that I really kind of want to hit into, and Neil, I'm so excited about you being a part of it, because I think you're going to be a whole lot of new energy and a whole lot of help to us for sure.
Before we jump over to that, though, I'd like maybe talk about how we're going to so one of the things I've wanted to kind of do is talk about specific topics, because I think people who are interested in marriage may not care too much about substance abuse, and people who care about substance abuse may not care too much about, marriage, vice versa, So how are we going to kind of focus in on those particular people who are interested in certain topics?
Yeah, and we've talked about this. Some of the things we're going to try to do is try to create some more regular scheduled. So, we're not sure what it is yet, but we'll have certain topics about marriage maybe on a set week of the month, just so people know. We're also going to try to feed in between the different categories, because mental health is so encompassing. We want to make sure that at least people searching for it, like marriage or substance abuse, those type of things, are still getting their needs met. And that's where we might come up with more emails where they can get, information in between the podcast about marriage. Like I said, making sure the content's out there, making sure that we're commenting and people are asking questions about things in between the podcast. But like Chris said, the idea is we're going to start categorizing this stuff. Instead of just being a podcast category, we're literally going to have these podcasts are about marriage. So you can see the 10 podcasts about marriage. You can go through them and hit the ones you need. We're trying to make it, like I said, easy to access and organize, so that way you guys get all the information you guys want when you want it.
Yeah, man.
And now, folks, listeners, it's a good time to send in suggestions if you have any.
Yeah,
so you can go to our website and do that. So fire it up if you have anything you think would benefit you as a listener or us as the show hosts.
Contact at throughwiththerapisteyes.com, the social media things, leave messages, all of that.
Yeah, join the mailing list on the website. We're going to start utilizing that. So if you guys don't subscribe through podcast, we're going to send you emails based on when the YouTube stuff comes up or if the podcast comes up. So, we're going to make sure that it's accessible from more than just one or two platforms.
Anything else sum this up? Those are really a lot of cool things. It's a lot of stuff to wrap my brain around. I know these guys technically going to do whatever. I'm just going to keep on talking.
That's what you're here for, Chris. That's what we need.
Right? I'm just going to keep talking. Shall we jump into some of these things? These current events?
Let's do it.
Let's fire it up, right? We want to summarize, all the shows that we've done about the COVID-19 and just kind of maybe have a quick general chat about that. I think it will take us out on that. And then, man, our country has been going through a time. No sarcasm. Seriously, statements of like, wow, all the race relation issues, the murder / death, how you want to refer to it in the news with George Floyd. I mean, there's been so much going on with looting and rioting and demonstrating and kneeling, and Kaepernick's even come back up in the news. You see that, Craig?
What?
Kaepernick's come back up. He was some basketball player was talking to Drew Brees about Drew Brees criticizing Cap again and all. I mean, it's just there's so much going on, in our nation as it relates to, it's not even, I don't know if you could say it's triggered by George Floyd or not, but certainly the lightning rod, would you say, maybe kind of might have been that a little bit. My main point with all of this is not to kind of degenerate into, something that we're not going to have time to cover here today, all the race relation realities in our country, which we will probably need to do from a mental health perspective at some point soon. But just the mental health aspects of this, man. I mean, dude, that's what's been blazing in my head when I see the news and I'm watching the stuff going on, and I'm like, dude, my mental health head is like buzzing with all of the issues related to mental health.
Oh, I bet this is a good time for you to really think about everything going on.
Yeah, I mean, the issues with fear, the issues with trauma, the issues with loneliness and the COVID-19 quarantine. I mean, people are just like, freaking out about having toilet paper still, Did you get toilet paper, Craig? Have you got your stash?
Well, I don't have a stash, but it seems to be available now
in stores.
Enough? So I got enough.
Yeah, you got your TP?
Yeah, we're getting it.
You got it? I might be coming over here to get some. No, actually, we're covered there too, but it's just there's so many things kind of going on. Being a part of the media, I wanted to try something different, and that is, Craig, I guess we're weirdly enough we're a part of the media, and I did something just that was unique and different insofar as covering an event that we had in Mount Holly, North Carolina. Just kind of randomly went out and talked to a couple people that were actually at a local protest. So it was neat to kind of just be there and put my social work eyes and just, we do that. We kind of, as a matter of fact, it's funny, man. There was a guy that I took college class from, and he talked about how he sees the world through his lens, right? And it's a lens of social work. And I was dialed in. It was one of my first social work classes, and I thought that was such a cool concept. Just looking at the things kind of going on and seeing it through the lens of just being there with people, whether you agree with it or not agree with it, and whatever you feel about it. There's definitely emotions there, and simply just being able to be with people is something I think people are fundamentally needing or wanting to have a voice to. So let me try and see if this comes through the microphone. I just wanted to kind of see. What people would be saying, right? You want to hear live at a protest. What are people really saying, and what are people are thinking? Here's what I found. I don't know how the audio will show out, but guys, this is sort of an impromptu thing that I'm doing. Stopped by our little town of Mount Holly, North Carolina. People had gathered together with all the national issues that we've got going on. So I have a couple people that just kind of picked out randomly. Have a conversation about what's going on, see how it goes. Would you be willing to tell us anything about yourself, your name, and who you are, and what you see here? The two of you, either.
My name is Terrence Lynch, and
Might have to talk up.
My name is Terrence Lynch, and what I see here, I see everybody coming together, not only black, you got whites, you got Mexicans, and we all coming together, and we tired of this racism
Right.
going on.
Right.
And we just want to be treated equal and right, and stop profiling us.
Okay. And you're holding a sign that says.
Stop profiling us.
All right. And you, man, what's going on?
I'm Tanira Smith. Like he said, I see we are treated unequal. We've been treated unequal for so many years, thousands of years, and we're just trying to make it stop. It's everybody coming together, wanting justice, just like we do. And it's just sad how we're not getting the justice that we always wanted for so many years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate what you guys are doing. I'll tell you, just standing here, bringing a voice to issues that we have in our country for sure. So I'm really here to listen. I got a lot of thoughts about, our show is going to be about racism and mental health is what we're going to kind of, pop into because it's such a big issue right now. What would you like people to be able to hear, about your sign? And what does your sign say again, too?
Our skin color isn't a threat.
Okay, awesome. What do you want people to hear? What do you want people to think? What do you think is going on in our country right now that's been so devastating and just emotionally rough and raw?
Black lives are being killed by the people that's supposed to protect us, by the people that's supposed to protect us from everything, from murder, from harm, from everything, and they're doing that. They're doing that to us, to Black lives.
Okay. What are you thinking?
And I don't want to be,
Man, you a quiet voice.
I don't want to be profiled as a thug. And I'm a human.
Profiled as a thug, you say?
Yes, and that's a racist name for a black man.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to be a black American.
Right.
Equals right. And no hatred. I love everybody.
He looks like a lovely person, I gotta say. Okay. What do you think? I think one of the reasons why I picked you out, randomly somewhat, but unrandomly in the sense that you guys were chanting the "No Justice, No Peace" concept.
Yes.
What do you speak to that? What do you all mean, or what do you think that means?
Since we're not getting justice, we're not going to be peaceful. We're not going to sit and be quiet when Black lives are being taken back to back to back, with them when they're not getting no justice from being killed by police. And yeah, we just want equality. We just want to be equal with everybody. We want to have rights just like everybody. We want to be treated equally by everybody.
Okay. And what do you think about the no peace part? Some might say, what does that mean? Are we advocating violence, or if there's no justice, no peace? What do you say to some of the I don't know what you call them, contractors, or people might respond like, what do you mean? Is looting cool? Is that what do we do with it?
Most protesters, they are being peaceful. They are really being peaceful, and that's more likely to be like what I think of no justice, no peace, more than looting and rioting and stuff. But mainly people that are rioting are just people that's not protesting. And they are protesting, but I guess you wouldn't say they would do it in the right way, but they are trying to get like their voices out by doing that. But there's other ways you can get your voice out too.
Sounds like you're not an advocate of obvious,
I'm not.
troublesome stuff that goes on with some of the violence that we've seen, I guess, on TV and that type of stuff. What do you think about that? What she's
no
saying?
Peace.
And no justice, no peace. I guess the violence that has come on, and like you said, you just want to love everybody. I get that.
Well, we ain't about violence. It's just that certain people that see these protesters, they don't have no peace. That hurt them to see us out here peacefully protesting, and that's what it is. No peace. You ain't gonna get we ain't gonna get no justice. You ain't gonna get no peace.
Right.
And if you want this to stop, let's come together.
Yeah. Peaceful, maybe in the way of mental health. Our show is about,
right, mental health
and the turmoil that can be created by everything going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For us, mental health, like I can see something. Say that I can see that like that police officer killing that man.
Yeah.
I can get temporarily insanity. Just that quick. I can snap just to see that.
Right.
We don't want that. We don't want to see that.
Right.
So if you don't want me to snap, do the right thing. Let's come together.
Well, I can certainly say I don't want to see you snap. He's a big fella, everybody. This guy's a bigger fella. Right? How old are you, sir, if you'd be willing to say?
I'm 53.
53?
I'll be 54 this year.
And you, ma'am, are
I'm 18.
18?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm all right.
So I guess we're about 5 minutes in. We don't want it to have too big of a spot on our show. I guess closing thoughts. What would you say in kind of closing? And maybe I would maybe think us to wrap up with, like, you know, what do you think is going to help? What's, you know, everyone talks about the problem. My co-host, you know, we were talking on the phone about all this stuff. Well, what's the answer? What do we do? How do we manage this?
I've saw on the news that all 50 states are protesting. All 50 states, even Hawaii, all 50 states are protesting. And I think that's
Even
what we need
little old Mount Holly, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Right?
And I just feel like that's working. That is truly working, but it can't stop now. Like, it's not going to stop anytime soon. We need to keep continuing what we're doing to make a change.
I mean, what's the change? What are the answers? What do we?
Justice.
How do we get to justice? How do we get to a place where, as you kind of sort of were pointing out, right, like, you know, to where we're all kind of coming together. What is coming together look like? Maybe?
Protesting, like how we're doing today, all coming together from different backgrounds, Black, white, Hispanic, Asians, everything. They're all coming together because we all want the same thing. We all want change. We all want to be equal.
Okay. What are you thinking, man?
I think that we ought to support more black business and stop. You have black business in this town. Don't go to a next town and buy from others. Support black business.
Okay. Instead of Walmart and
Exactly,
Home
because they
Depot
don't care about us.
big chains and
Exactly.
boxes and
Exactly.
all of that. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to get out of here. I really appreciate you guys chatting. We'll get you some information about the show and help you out. So I appreciate it.
Okay.
So that was Craig. I guess, like I said, we're sort of part of the media. That was my first foray into doing a covered a rally. Who knew, right? Like I've never done anything like that before, as far as covering a rally goes. You know, the thing that occurred to me as I was kind of talking to those guys, Neil, and I'm curious maybe what anybody thinks, is just, you know, however your stance is on things. I mean, the reality of the fact is mental health is a big piece of all this. Like, to me, that's a bottom line. And you know, the way this came out, Craig, is I was leaving my office from doing therapy all day, and I saw that these people were over there, and I thought, you know what, let me go over and have a conversation. And just literally go over and just have a conversation. I thought, you know, let me just record this conversation, because everybody pulls out their cell phones nowadays, right? And so let me just go ahead and, you know, pull out, is, you know, what better way to cover a current event than to just, you know, record and have a conversation, you know, with somebody. And I have found over the years in my therapy office, like, simply being present and paying attention to what somebody wants to say, as long as they're being appropriate, of course. You ain't being appropriate, I ain't listening to you. But having a conversation and being present with people, particularly when they're having a rough time. You know, last week we talked about, you know, the nursing home facilities and stuff, and I couldn't help but think, you know, I'm going to be talking to the National Ombudsman Group. Y'all don't know that. I didn't even tell Neil, you, and Craig this. But I was sitting there thinking, like, what am I supposed to say to these guys that are National Ombudsman? They're getting ready to go back up into these facilities, and what am I supposed to say to them? Because I don't know if you picked up on it, but, you know, they found me and came to me and wanted me to talk to their group. I'm supposed to say stuff to them about how I'm supposed to cope with all that. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, okay, well, this is more than I thought, really, as far as, you know, the depths of nursing home realities. You know, I think being present is one of the things I'm going to really drive home for them.
I think that's something a lot of people are missing, is, you know, that idea of having people listen to them is the big struggle. That, you know, society today is very me self, and the problem is no one wants to listen and actually really understand or try to understand that their side or their part of the conversation. So I think that's very important.
Agree or disagree or feel how you feel and whatnot. Like, yeah, listening and being attentive and being present with somebody, whether they're in the terrible pain of dealing with a mom in a nursing home, or, you know, having lost, you know, I tell you what, when I lost my sister and she died, I mean, you know, Craig, I really appreciated you just talking to me. I don't know if you remember that. It meant a lot to me. You know, just being present with me. My sister just died. Just freaking listen to me. Or, you know what, you don't even have to say anything. Just listen to me. It's a powerful reality from a mental health perspective. let's kind of try to summarize a little bit too. The realities of COVID-19. I mean, Craig, we've done how many shows? Like, seems like 25 shows on COVID-19.
Not that many.
The coronavirus.
We've done a few.
Yeah, it's been a few. I mean, what did you take from all that? Really, just you've watched the news. You've kind of been in the pandemic yourself, and what do? We talked to a rehab facility. We talked about working from home. We talked about the power. Gosh, the emotional one of the nursing homes. What do you take from all those things from your perspective as far as it relates to Corona?
Man, I guess there's a lot of fear and anxiety and uncertainty and all those kind of things that go along with an event like that. But there's also resiliency and people pushing through and persevering and pivoting and shifting and but it's also brought out the worst in people too. I mean, the politics of it are disheartening and
I second that.
Just
Jesus,
a lot
I
of
second
stuff
that.
going on there that there's a lot of stuff to take away from the COVID thing, and I think we're going to be learning a lot for a long time to come.
I've been thinking about the time to come. I mean, I'm more and more convinced the more I think of some specifics. I'm not going to talk about them here, but this is going to change the world. I mean, this is really going to be different moving forward.
I
think some
we have to be
normal
careful
things
about
aren't coming
that.
back.
I think that people are going to try to use it to take advantage.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to be careful of that, and you never know. I haven't done any searching to see what's true and what's not, but will forced vaccinations be a thing? These tracking apps,
better not be.
These what are they calling them? The contact.
Yeah.
So you install an app on your phone and then it tracks who you've been with and
definitely some scary stuff.
I even heard that it'll be able to tell how many people are in the room with you. So you could be having a dinner party at your house, and the cops could show up and tell you have too many people there to disperse. So you don't know what to believe, and you have to be careful about people trying to take advantage of the situation. I mean, there was some politicians quoted in the paper, in news, that said we need to take advantage of this to get our agenda pushed out and stuff like that.
Cannot allow fear to drive stuff.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't. And we see that people are giving up their constitutional rights.
Better not.
Is a part of this. People are calling the cops on their neighbors, for not social distancing and having too many people at their house. And it's really, I'm really worried about the country and our future and the world my kids are going to have to grow up in, because of some of the things that I see going on today.
I hear you. Yeah, that's not where I was thinking as far as, things aren't going to be the same. I mean, Craig, I tend to have a positive slant just in my brain. I don't know if that's because I've trained my brain, in doing what I do for a living to steer away from some of the terror stuff and some of the horror stuff. I mean, I go home and I take my clothes off and I do self-care to take my armor off to put my home clothes on, and because it's just, otherwise, I mean, I start thinking conspiracy thinking sometimes because that's just fun to do, to imagine what somebody mentioned last week, the John Orwell scenario,
George
right?
Orwell. That's what the lady said on the show last time. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I don't know. I'm not trying to make myself naive, but I tend to be positive thinking is all I'm saying.
Well, I guess I went into a negative place there. There are positives that'll come out of it. I think it'll change the way we do business. I think it'll change the way we look at, hopefully, each other, Yeah. I have elderly parents, and, hopefully it'll make people appreciate life more and the freedoms that we do have. So I think there's a lot of positive things going on there too. I didn't mean to throw out all the negative things I think might happen, but just I think with the state of the country, with the events around George Floyd's death and the events around this COVID and the way our politics just when you think it can get any worse, it gets worse. And man, it's like, how do you recover from?
Which, by the way, I really feel like there is a big connection between all of the COVID-19 angst and quarantine and frustration. And I'm not trying to diminish anything that people have with police, issues and, racial relations and whatever. But all of that angst has been pent up. There is an absolute, I can say psychologically trained in my brain, a connection between all of that and all of the stuff we see going on.
Well, I'm sure people are blowing off steam.
I am so sick of being in my house, and now you give me a reason to come out and protest and get out. Like I am, it's exploded in part because of a combination. Is what I'm trying to say.
Since this started, I haven't heard hardly anything about COVID.
Oh yeah, I still hear a little bit
because people are just so focused on what's going on here.
And
I think, like you said, people are they got all this anxiety and anger and stuff pent up. They've been sitting in their houses for 3 months, and now all of a sudden it's like, wow.
You know what's funny, Craig? This COVID thing, man, you and I have had these guests come on, which has been great. I've loved all of our guests. But I'm going to say, it's funny, me and you going back and forth on, recording and whatnot. Dude, like, we need to do a few shows when we come back from our break and just have you and me battling and batting and stuff, talking about stuff, man.
Let's pick some easier topics and do that.
Yeah, because we're just sitting here doing our thing now. We're going back and forth. We haven't done that in a while.
Pick easier topics.
Yeah, that's true. But, we've left this guy Neil out, man. This is supposed to be his, swan song into Through a Therapist's Eyes, and you and I are doing our thing,
That's how it's gonna be. It's just I'm just here to help you guys, and I'll keep tallies. I'll see who wins every show.
Out there right now, it's gonna be me.
All right, Neil, what are you thinking? I'm curious. I mean, you listen to us ramble and babble over here and whatnot. I mean, you've been listening to the shows, and you came in the middle of this whole thing. I'm sure you've been a faithful listener to every 91 episodes, every second you've heard, right?
Yep, at least twice.
Right,
at least
really?
twice.
Sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you thinking over there listening to all this, man?
I think there's going to be a lot of change, and I think that everything just came to a head now, and hopefully this, I'm an optimist like you, Chris. I think there's going to be a lot of good change come out of this. Hopefully some bad things will be revealed, and hopefully our nation is going to get stronger after this. It just really stinks right now. So that's just my take on it. And I think the pent up frustration, a lot of things that we were more tolerant for before, I think we don't have the patience because like they said, we have more angst and anxiety, and we're just tired of it. So the just kind of perfect storm.
I'm glad you said that, Neil. Thank you for that, because you just suggested that maybe our country can be stronger as a result of this. And you know what? I believe in the United States of America. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not going to minimize that or sugarcoat that. I mean, I think we are way more. I know I am way more fortunate than I could ever realize living in the country that we live in.
Yeah, me too.
We take so much for granted than what people all around the world are dealing with. In some ways, we're so super fortunate, and I think part of the reason why it's so fortunate is our diversity, and is the great experiment that has been the United States of America, that we can come through. We do come through. We've always come through on tough times, and they make us better. In an individual psychological state, the things that you struggle with, you grow the most. I have said, you hurt the most, you grow the most, right? No pain without any, no gain without any pain. We're having a tough time right now. There's no doubt about that. But people absolutely can come together. We can learn. We can evolve. We need to continue, obviously. But I just believe in what the combination of what United States of America means. Craig, I was thinking about this when we were talking to Estelle, California. And you remember having that conversation with her about race, actually?
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember, I was stunned at the way she talked about it in France, and I've talked to some of my friends about this lately, and the fact of the matter is, in France, if you're a black person, you ain't never going to be a French person. You remember she said that?
I think she said a foreign person.
She said you're an African.
Yeah, but I think she meant foreigners in general. Like, we'll never go to France and become French people.
No, what I heard her say is specific to the black population in France. They are never able to be considered French.
Possibly. Well, we'll have to go look that
Yeah.
up. But either way.
That she was amazed at the way that we operate in the States, accepting people and allowing you to be as you be. And I remember that being powerful. Remember, I was shocked by that when she said that. I was kind of like, dude, really? Like, what are you saying? Because we struggle with this and whatnot.
Right.
And this was like, how long ago was that? 3-4 months ago?
Yeah, it seems like it was something like that.
Yeah, and she was just taken aback at the strength that we have. I mean, she's only, I don't know if you heard that show. She's only been stateside for, 10 years or something. And she was just totally taken aback at how accepting we are of people now. She also qualified, if you remember, she said, well, now this is California. I thought that was amazing and funny. So I don't know, closing thoughts. We're going to take a break here for a month, and we'll be back firing at it. We're still going to be on social media. We're going to be doing some things. Neil described some of the cool things that we're going to be doing to better engage people and grow our show and make it even. I didn't even know the show could be cooler, Craig. Did you imagine that was possible?
I didn't think so, but I guess it can.
I'm just kidding. What are your summary thoughts you guys got? COVID, the race realities and the rampant violence we have, and the creation of what we're doing in the show here in season 2, I guess, to come soon. Closing thoughts. What are you guys thinking?
I got nothing. We'll see you guys soon.
Mr. Neal?
I'm excited. Can't wait to get this awareness out for Through a Therapist's Eyes.
All right, let's figure it all out together. All right, we're gonna see you guys again. Where's this gonna be? I guess June, July, somewhere around July, August, right? Probably mid July, August. I think 3 of us ought to go to the beach. What do you think about that?
Sounds like a great idea.
We're gonna hit the beach with kayaks. We're going to take a little bit of a break, but we're really looking forward to being back with you folks. We will talk to you soon. See ya.